This is dedicated to all my beautiful queens, all my beautiful ladies out there. She's a queen. Go queen. You got it, girl. She's a queen. You better represent. Go queen. Go queen. Go. She's a queen about her business. Queen. Working hard on a mission. Yeah. Head high, purpose driven. Purpose driven. Crown on never tilted. Go queen, go queen, go queen, go. Represent, you're a queen, oh.
So thank you guys for joining another episode of the Q-Chat podcast. Today I have 80 Empire. We're going to chop it up about music. I know you guys have tuned in and I have a few musicians on sometimes, and those are secretly, I'll admit, some of my favorite episodes. So we're going to chop it up about music, one of my first loves. So how you guys doing today?
We're good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to talk to you guys. So you guys are in Canada, right?
Sorry, what was that, Shauna?
You guys are in Canada, right?
We're in Canada. It's starting to get a little cold. Today's a little cold. You know, I've got my hat on to keep my head warm.
We're like probably 10 minutes away from the border,
From Lewiston, from Youngstown,
and then like 45 from Buffalo.
Yeah.
So we're in Niagara, the Niagara region of Canada. We used to live outside of Toronto for many years, and then we moved down here like maybe 8 years ago. But
And where are you from?
I'm in Louisiana.
Ooh, so let me ask you something. Is this true? And maybe I'm wrong. Fat Joe once said it, that people in Louisiana, everyone said, like one of the catchers is, "Hey baby," is that right?
Oh, that's the little baby. You the dead baby.
Baby. Okay, so I was right, baby. Okay.
Oh no, he was telling the truth, because that stems to me. It's like more of a New Orleans thing, which I am originally from. So I lived in New Orleans, born and raised 30 years. So yeah, baby, that's our thing. So.
Baby. Okay.
So let's talk about, give everybody a background. So a proper intro for you guys. So you guys you together are 80 Empire brothers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you have your Gladiator company, and you guys are multi-platinum, Universal Publishing, Juno, which for people that aren't familiar, Juno is Canadian, the Juno nominated singers, songwriters, producers. You guys do a lot. So just break down what you guys do, how you guys started, how long you've been in business and been making music, basically.
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, you know, we started like you know, most like as kids, our parents introduced us to, you know, a lot of soul and R&B and funk music.
Shout out to Gangster P and Jabu. That's what we call our mom and dad. Mama's Gangster P.
And dad is Jabu, Papa J.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just, you know, as kids, like Adrian always says, we're Bert and Ernie because we're brothers. Ernie and, you know.
Well, growing up, you know, like we're Italian kids, you know, some people call us Italian, some people call us white. But as kids, as teenagers, all of our heroes on our wall were all black because we were really influenced by African-American culture, because our parents, as young people in the 60s, mom and dad, you know, they listened to James Brown and Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, and then got into, I mean, James Brown was funk, but then got into Parliament funk and all of that stuff, Roger and Zapp and Prince. And so we were exposed to all that music, even though that wasn't our generation. That's what we grew up listening to and influenced. And so really our mom and dad, still to this day, I think they are our biggest musical influence, because they introduced us. We fell in love with black culture and black music because of our parents, who loved it and still love it.
That's cool. How old are you guys?
I'm 21. No, I'm just joking. I just turned 45 in July.
Yeah. And I'm 43.
So we've been doing
okay. Well, you guys are around my same age, because I think like
I was going to say you're 19, so you're 18 and we're 21.
Yeah, I love to, you know, for good purposes, I'm 18, but you know, when you pull out the birth certificate, I'm 44. So like that generation, I feel like we grew up just listening to everything. You know, I feel like because I always like to I like to really pinpoint the 80s for music, even though I was born in 77. But you know, the 80s is like, it wasn't like now. Like in the 80s, you listen to everything. You listen to pop, you listen to rap, you listen to R&B, like you listen to rock. Like even now, like if I'll turn on the radio station and I'm listening to all types of wild stuff, my kids are like, where did you get that from? Like I can name all types of songs. I think that was one of the beauties of music back then in our generation. Like I think it was just more
more variety and more versatility.
That's what I was gonna say. Like even in hip hop, like you can listen to the East Coast, you can listen to New York, and then Detroit, which is not that far away, obviously different states, but that was different. Then you go down to Louisiana or New Orleans, and like that was different hip hop.
You had the Cash Money and the No Limit sound,
right? But then Miami and South was totally different hip hop, and then the West Coast had hip hop, but then the Bay, which was a little bit more up, still West, was different hip hop. Now, you know, it's changing again, but like radio hip hop, the shit you hear all over the radio, doesn't matter where you're from. It all sounds the same.
Right.
You know,
I agree with that because like I have a 20-year-old and he, you know, we talk about music a lot. So I'm always comparing like music now as opposed to like when I grew up and stuff. And I was even saying the other day, like, I feel like R&B too, because I've talked to a lot of R&B people on this show, have performers, producers, all that type of stuff. To me, like that generation too, there was a time where like R&B was like really heavy, but now it's like every song has like the same aesthetic, like whether it's a rap song or, you know, a pop. I can't even say like an actual love song because people don't, it's like, you don't, I don't know. It's just, it's not radio heavy.
Love songs are no more. You know, I miss the days of listening to Geaux, take me to the subway, I'll go down.
But then even like David Hollister,
Right.
I'm back and it was over. Like that's we don't have that anymore. Like, you know,
well, this generation don't know that
was a wicked song.
Carl Thomas, Dave Hollister should have formed a super group, man.
Oh, but even thing, what's his name? Then it loves someone they don't treat them bad.
Avant?
No, that was Avant was my first love.
And then who? Sheesh.
You know Donnell Jones.
Donnell Jones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
you know, see that the new generation don't know like you know that 3 o'clock in the morning at a club where they played like 3 slow jams before the night was done, you know.
But they don't know the Quiet Storm. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. See, that's another thing. Like back in the day, like everyone was ready to tune into the Quiet Storm sets at night. You know, and you know, then the DJs would have like the featured artists every night. Like that was the time back then. You know,
and you know what? And R&B, like, listen, you know, you have to be stupid not to know what Joe was talking about when he said, "Take me to the subway, I'll go down." I mean, but he didn't have to say it.
Right.
That was the great thing about that
like,
era.
But R&B, like now, it's just like there's nothing left to the imagination. I've got 2 daughters, a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. You know what I mean? And it's just like, as a man, like knowing what young men want,
right?
Being an older statesman now, and it's just like, you know, I don't want my daughters listening to shit that's just so like graphic and doesn't leave anything in the imagination. And you know, I whether it's a man or a woman, they have the artistic freedom to talk about their body and how they feel like they want to talk about it. But you know, I don't want my daughter singing certain things because I'm their dad. I want to protect them, you know. So music has kind of gone like way too like where there's nothing, like you have to be so graphic, and that's like the norm.
Right.
Like, which is with hip hop, it was all right, you know, like when NWA were saying F the police, damn right F the police, because they do racially profile black men. My brother and I could walk down, whether it was 20 years ago or now, walk down, we've always dressed like this. But because our shade of skin is light, we're not going to be bothered by the cops. But our friends who dress the same way, who are black, it's going to be a different reality. So it's different for like, you know, songs to be graphic when it's social commentary, like F the police. But like when the sexual stuff and having young kids, like I don't want my kids You know, it's easier to explain social justice and why you need to use an F word to get your point across. It's harder to explain. My people are just being graphic and horny for the sake of being graphic and horny.
Right.
To explain that to my daughters, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But you know, we also grew up, even though like the Marvin Gaye era, for example. You know, Marvin Gaye sang "Sexual Healing," "Let's Get It On." There's nothing about either one of those songs that is cringy. Like,
no, exactly.
That was what he was talking about, and that's one of the beauties about just that classic music back then. Like, he was able to sing like some of the most romantic sexual songs without even really getting graphic, you know, but it's just a difference in class, you know. That's why I'm I love like Raheem Devon, for example. Yeah. He sings love songs, you know, and he definitely sings about love making, but it's not graphic, it's not cringy, it's really romantic, you know. Really romantic, you know. And I actually had interviewed him and I asked him, does he ever feel like the torch has been kind of passed on to him? Because I feel like so many similarities in his style of music and what we listened to in R&B back then. Because R&B was like, you know, in our generation, it was love songs, you know, and it wasn't really extremely graphic, even though they did sing about sex, love making, or whatever.
Yeah. Like would you know, like would Boyz II Men have a career in today's age? Probably not, because they had one fast song, their first song, Motown Philly, and then every other song was either, you know, I used to sing to my now wife when we would fight or when we were in love. It would, you know, like Bended Knee was when I did something wrong and I had to, God gave me the reason. Yeah, And then when everything was good, it was like, okay, now I got to play some Joe, because everything was good. You know, we're gonna play some Joe right now, but when it was time to apologize,
there was like H-Town. There was like,
but even with them, somebody rocking, knocking the boots.
No, and even Silk, I want to lick you up and down. Saying the word lick is not as graphic as using, you know, the word to describe female genitalia or the opposite for the male.
That was a great song, though.
You know,
what was the guy's name? The little guy, like the
sheesh.
And he did the high part. You can do it. I can't. That's why I'm the producer. I run all the equipment.
We actually did a show back in the day. Bryant Reed is L.A. Reid's brother,
and he discovered Usher.
He helped to discover Usher and brought Pink to LaFace Records. And so years and years ago, about 20 years. I'll be married 20 years this June or just July. So it'll be 20 years. 20 years. We went on this show, B Street Live. It's like Turner South. You know, or like Peach Street TV, the Turner stuff down south, and we performed. And when you went on the website back then, it said the best in Africa, African American hip hop and soul. And so we were the only non-African American group, 2 Italian guys from Canada, and we performed on this show. And so you had to do a cover song. So we did. You know, they said the producers of the shows, you know, obviously because we're white, they're like, why don't you do Hall & Notes? Because it's blue, you know, Blue-Eyed Soul. So we did that. Sarah Smile, lady, Sarah Smile. Anyway, and then we did 2 original tracks. But on the same night, Cut Close, who did that record with Your Body with Keith Sweat, she performed. I forget his name, Lil G, I think. Lil G from Silk.
There's a meeting in my bedroom. Yeah, that was the shit, man.
But it was a great show, man.
And every guy did that. Remember the Drew Hill dance?
Everybody
and it, you know, and it was, you know, because I'm the little heavier one, so I was like the big guy. I was in the big guy in the group, like sweating to death, trying to do that jump shit. It was like,
but that night, like a lot of R&B people were in the house. Like Keith Sweat had performed. He was rumored that he was going to come do that song with Cut Close. He didn't, but like Lil G was in the house. He performed. A lot of our like Chris Cross, a lot of like R&B people from the 90s, and this was like early 2000s. Like a lot of R&B people were in the spot that night. You know, Lil Zane was there. Remember rapper Lil Zane? There. And you know, it's funny. Sorry, we go off on tangents. Tell us to shut up, whatever. I'm watching the show on Stars on Amazon Prime, BMF, which is about the Black Mafia family from Detroit. Lil Zane is part of the 50 Boys. He's part of like Big Meech. And I'm watching it the other day.
And you're like, he looks familiar.
He looks familiar. And then there's a guy, Luke and I do a lot of music with Swifty McVeigh. He's our brother. He was in D12 and OB Trice. And so we did an album with Swifty last year. Swifty's on our new album dropping December 10th. And we have another album with Swifty, like 25 songs that's going to drop in the year. So I phoned him. We're talking about the album. Like, yo, is BMF like me? As even though we've been to Detroit and have done a lot of music with rappers from Detroit, we're not from Detroit. Even though we've hung out there and stuff, been there a number of times. And he's like, no, man, it's like the show is legit. Like, it's legit. Like, I could tell you the music and everything. But I'm like, and then we're talking, I'm like, yo, got the high top fade. That's Lil Zane. So sorry, anyway. I wondered where Lil Zane went. Now he's on BMF. Anyway.
So obviously, you know, like you said, you guys were raised with music and everything. So tell me, though, like, how did you guys transition from, you know, being kids, obviously having a good range of music lessons? And I think a lot of people who have a good range of music, it kind of does stem from my parents. I know I run my mouth constantly to my kids about real music. So what made you guys transition and say, hey, we're gonna make this a career, we're gonna get together, two brothers, and form something and make some good music? Like, so how did you guys get started in your business?
Yeah, I think it was just the more we just, I don't know, the more we played music in the house, the more we just
wanted to perform.
The more we fell in love with it. And I was always good with making shit up, like keyboard, like piano, and that was my thing. Where Adrian was like,
Lucas could bullshit with his hands, I could bullshit with my mouth. And we found that out at an early age because we both took piano. Lucas excelled and did well. And then we finally quit and he went off to learn jazz. And eventually he went to university and trained with some of the best jazz musicians in Canada. But my first piano recital, I was screwing up. I was on stage, blah, and I'm looking at the piano teacher. I don't know the note. So after that, I'm like, no. But rapping and singing, because I can make stuff up, that was my thing. You know, and then we had different band members, from cousins to childhood friends to union members to then just us, and being signed to indie labels, being signed to major labels, you know, getting a little bit of shine, but not the shine we wanted, and this and that. And then we finally said, listen, man, like, we have all this experience. We have a publishing deal, all of these things, the mistakes we made, the successes we've had. Let's start an indie label, you know, and then we started nurturing young talent, but probably the good 10 years now. And, but like, just saw that, you know,
we saw that, you know, and not to knock this, you know, the youth, because we know artists, you know, our age, even older and younger, that have that same, you know, entitlement. But we did find that this younger demographic of artists want the success, but they don't want to put in the work, the real work that's involved. And you know, the pros and cons to music today is that, you know, we can record a song right now and by midnight have it mixed and mastered and out on SoundCloud, and then in a couple of days have it out on Tidal and Spotify and Apple Music and stuff. The cons of it is that there's a lot of mediocrity music out there, where the equipment I have back here can make the worst singers sound good. And we've worked with some pretty lousy singers over the years.
We worked with incredible,
and then we've worked with incredible singers. So, you know, but they're not willing to put the work in, and they think, you know, a couple of Instagram stories and some posts, you know, they've done the work. And it takes years. Like, look at her, who's an extremely talented artist that you know has now, you know, is at the top of her game the last couple of years. But she's been signed since she was like 14. She's like she's like 24, 25 years old. You know, it took 10 years of a label kind of molding her to where she is now. So when people think after a year or so, how come I'm not big and famous? They're going like, that's very, very few people have that. I was discovered on YouTube. Like, even Justin Bieber had already shit rolling with Usher and them, and they made it like he got discovered on YouTube. Yeah, he was doing YouTube videos, but he went to Atlanta and luckily he saw him and he liked him, and he goes, keep doing these videos. And they made it kind of like it was some, something, but that doesn't really happen. You got to put in the work. So Adrian and I, you know, funny enough, the year before the pandemic, we kind of went, you know what? We've been investing so much time and money and effort into these young artists that really don't care. And when we're hustling on their behalf more than them, you know, part of my French, fuck it. We're going to start focusing on us again.
And I think the pinnacle was like Obi Trice and Swifty were in town because we live near Niagara Falls now. So they were at a concert venue, and Obi hit up Luke. He's like, yo, man, I'm in town. We in your hood and blah, 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 blah. Boom. Jump on stage with us. And because Obi's third studio album, Bottoms Up, we did the first single, Battle Cry. So I'm singing the hook, and Luke produced it. So, and then we've done more since then. With Obi did a movie thing, and then now like our relationship with Swifty's like a cousin or brother. But that night we went and performed the song. So with Swifty's like a cousin or brother. But that night we went and performed the song. So we just did our song and went on stage, and everybody in the audience knew the song. They were singing the chorus. Like we have footage, everyone doing this. And then we're leaving the venue, and we hear these kids go, yo. And then we're already thinking, yo, there's going to be a fight. I mean, these kids are drunk. So I'm already getting out my keys thinking I might have to, like, you know, key someone in the face or something. And these kids go like, yo, 80 Empire, like, you don't understand. That song Battle Cry, when I was in high school, that song was like my joint. And that song got me through. And I just want to say it was so dope. And knowing that you guys are local and you live here and you did that with Obi, like, salute and respect. And so my brother and I looked at each other and like, yo, we got to go back to our roots, put out a hip hop album. Cause like, these are like kids that like, they just like, look, our song made an impact on them and they knew the words at the thing. And so it was the best thing that could have happened, you know, and we, boom. And we've been putting out for the past 2 years, we've just been putting out so many albums, hip hop albums. And we've worked with now, like in these 2 years, we've almost made up for lost time that we've worked, you know, that we were putting so much into these younger artists, like Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher, like guys who are current, not just rappers that were current, like when we were kids, like current people right now, like Benny the Butcher just signed with Snoop Dogg the other day. They posted it all over Instagram. And we have him on an album that we did last year for this other rapper from Buffalo. And we have an unreleased song we produced for him and this kid out of Boston. So just like, yeah, man, sometimes you need to go through a lot of stuff to really finally think, okay, this is what we got to do now. Like enough with all the time we wasted, you know?
So you guys also signed Fat Beats, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about that.
So back in end of August, I think it was. We signed with the legendary Fat Beats, which, you know, started off as a hip hop store record shop in New York in like 93, 94. And they moved their offices to Los Angeles.
They were the first to put, like, they put out Jay-Z's music before he started Rockefeller at Def Jam.
Yeah.
So they put out his stuff. They put out the Black Star Talib Kweli and Mos Def album.
Yeah, they've had a bunch of, you know, from Eminem to Black Star performing in their shops. And then they moved their whole business to Los Angeles so they could press more vinyl and CDs and stuff like that. And yeah, we connected with them via M80, an A&R out of LA. And yeah, this next album, Anthems and Icons, which comes out December 10th, is through Fat Beats. So we're excited because we're doing real hip hop and we're with a legacy label that understands hip hop. And they have, you know, a lot of current projects that they have out. A lot of those artists are also on our album too. So it made sense to be part of that kind of family.
Our first single featuring Slane. Slane was in a group called La Coca Nostra. He's out of Boston. Last night debuted DJ Eclipse on Shade 45. And so he was scratching it up. Like we have footage on our Instagram. And it's just still dope, man, at this age to get like DJs like cutting up your records on live radio, you know, and especially Shade 45 because it's such a big platform, right? Like, you know, you could be listening to it in Alaska or listening to it in like Baja, California, right on the Mexican and American border,
in,
like
in
or Louisiana,
Europe, or in Europe.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's serious. So it's cool. So that single comes out on Friday, and then the full album comes out December 10th. So we're pretty excited for this project.
Wow. So name some of your dream artists. Who are some people who, you guys really rock with, who you would love to work with? If you had to do like a dream list, like maybe 5 artists that if you could get in your studio, like who would it be?
Yeah. It's funny. I think we've achieved a bunch of them on these last 2 projects that we've done. But but there's so many more. So I would definitely say Snoop. For me, my 5 is definitely Snoop.
We've opened up for Snoop.
We opened up for Snoop.
Now we need to do a record.
But we want to do we'd love to do a record with Snoop. Would love to do a record with I love Redman, Method Man, Ghostface, Raekwon, like that. I mean, I think I just did it. Big Daddy Kane, Tech Nine. I think I've gone over.
But then I think if we
for hip hop.
Yeah, but then if we have to drop female like R&B singers, well, not even just female, but like R&B singers in the mix, I think like Mary J. Blige. To have like do a song with Mary J. We were supposed to do a record with Mumu Fresh last year. She is dope. It never materialized. But like
I'd still love to do that with Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys, Jasmine Sullivan. I really love. And I think some of the greats, man. Like I think Jesus, if we could do I know like they're getting up there in age, but I think if we could do a song with Gladys Knight, if we could do a song with Aaron Neville, Smokey Robinson, and we've already been blessed to work with the Commodores. So like that would be a blessing to work with like Aaron Neville and Smokey, because their voices, man.
I'd love to work with Jill Scott too. I love
Jill Scott. Yeah. Jill Scott, man, for real. Yeah.
She's just
Erykah Badu.
Erykah Badu is Black Thought too. Back to hip hop MCs. Black Thought would be Rakim, like I mean, I think our list is too long. I think Ice Cube.
But no, we've been blessed over the years. Like, I mean, next year, God willing, we have a song with Music Soul Child, CeeLo Green, and Bone Crusher supposed to come out. So, on this album, we have Dub C, we got Corrupt, MC8, we got DMC of Run DMC, we got KRS-One, we got so many people on this next album. We got a bunch of actors. Theo Rossi, he was in Sons of Anarchy. Luke Cage, he's on it. Raul Max Trujillo, who's on mine. Like, we got, like, it's a real eclectic mix of people, man, on this next album. So, yeah, super pumped about it.
That's amazing. So, of course, the hottest thing now on social media is verses. So, I want to hit you guys for another question. Obviously, you just listed a lot of artists. Like you said, your list may be too long. So, this may help you give me some more answers. So, I have 3 categories, and I want to get you guys answers. So, the first verses that I want to give you guys, who would you think would be the best? So, for the current artists out right now, ones that haven't been on the show yet, what would be your good pitch against who against who? Who would be the best verses right now?
I would like to see producer wise. I know P. Diddy had made that reference after I forget which one it was.
Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah, I think Dr. Dre and P. Diddy would be the kind of even though you don't know how much physically P. Diddy has produced, like you don't really know if he's sitting there on a drum machine. I think he's more like saying do this, do that. But I mean, his work over the years, I mean, he has some mammoth hits. So I think that would be a dope thing. I think, unfortunately,
I'd love to see Jay-Z against Nas.
Jay-Z against Nas.
Wow.
That would be dope.
I'd love to see Eminem battle someone.
I think Eminem and Busta Rhymes would be a dope.
I think so, actually, because the energy. Even though, like, for example, like Tech Nine is amazing, but Tech Nine has been an underground artist. Even though he's like the 9th richest rap mogul, but like he's and it's more like he did that kind of horror hop where it's he paints his face like a demon, and so not everybody's into that shit.
I think Eminem and Busta would be,
but Eminem and Busta, I think on a, like on a mass appeal level.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows Pasta Cavassier. Everybody knows Give Me Some Mo. And then everybody knows.
Well, because I think DMX,
Eminem shit.
I mean, DMX passed away and it was him and Snoop. I think that was a bad, I don't think that was a good, and it was during the pandemic in the heart of it where it was just in a studio. I think if DMX hadn't passed, I think DMX and Busta could have been a cool, because their energy on stage is almost the same. Like DMX would go nuts and so would Busta. But because obviously, you know,
I'm interested to hear Sharonda's other questions because she's got two other pieces.
No, I'm loving it. So the next one is the best versus R&B. Like, who would you guys put together in the R&B category? Like, I love the Brandy and Monica verses. Like, I love that one.
Yeah, that was good.
The Isley Brothers. Even though I wasn't sure about pitting them in Earth, Wind and Fire together, but I still loved it because it was more like it brought me back to my
childhood.
I think Blackstreet.
Blackstreet and Boyz II Men.
That's a good one. Good one.
And I'm not going to get into that because I'd never like to give information.
Good one. Good one.
And I'm not going to get into that because I'd never like to give information that like someone, but we're friends with Levi Little, who's in Blackstreet. You know, he sang the Joy record. Like people will know his name from She's Giving Me Joy. But I was just talking to him about a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about that. Specifically Boyz II Men, and he gave me some inside scoop. I don't want to.
No, you can't.
You know, I'd rather.
But
I'd rather him say it. But
I think they had enough.
We were talking about this.
I think they had enough,
and I was hearing it from the horse's mouth because he was telling me, "Yo, I'm like, what about a versus and blah blah blah." And
wait, I switched that then. Blackstreet against where the party at.
Jagged Edge.
Jagged Edge. Blackstreet against Jagged Edge because Blackstreet had more up tempo as well and slow songs, and so did Jagged Edge. Whereas Boyz II Men was just straight ballads.
Yeah,
every song was a ballad.
I mean, I know they mixed hip hop and R&B, and Left Eye Lopez is
TLC.
God bless her, but like TLC against someone. But again, she's passed.
I think you could still be
missing some of the energy.
Yeah, they could still play the tracks, you know.
TLC maybe against Escape.
Play the tracks.
Maybe TLC. No, TLC against maybe SWV. But the SWV is more straight vocals.
R&B.
Okay, SWV against but SWV did it against Escape, didn't they?
They did it against Escape.
They did. I forgot.
They did. They already did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, you know, it'd be dope. Like a Carl Thomas, maybe against like a Donnell Jones or against David Hollister.
Problem is,
I don't know if they have like though.
They don't have the extensive catalog. Library like they've had albums, but you know, you kind of with Carl Thomas, like you remember the Rain song, but you really remember I wish I never met.
It's true because they gotta come up with 20 songs piece or something. At least 10. Yeah, so you do have
saying, like you got to think Blackstreet had a bunch of hits. Jagged Edge had tons of hits. You know what? Actually, Jagged Edge on 112 would be even a better battle.
But you know, they did Jagged Edge on 112. It was like before verses was super, super popular, and they were having a lot of fun. Like, but it was during the pandemic, so they were literally just playing the tracks, and that's when you got
like
to
redo it kind of thing. Like redo it.
That's when you got to see which legends didn't have the best Wi-Fi. Because I remember, I think it was
the
I want to say 112 that was having some issues with the Wi-Fi, but they did it. You know, I can't even tell you how it was because they had so many glitches. I didn't stay tuned in.
And I love Spice Adams always has to do his parody.
Well, when the Teddy Riley one, when that was just a complete debauchery, and friggin' Spice Adams like 24 hours later has his not even, man, like a couple hours later.
He commented on Teddy Riley's page, and I wrote, Nas said it best, all you needed was one mic, because I'm like, Babyface is just sitting there ready to rock. And you trying to get the big old production, like, boo, like, just play the hits, because it was like this.
That's what I've said. Oh, that was too funny.
And we've met Teddy before. He's got Teddy, his voice, his demeanor is that old school, like, we're in the presence of a star. Like, he's kind of like that, kind of like, good to me, I'm Teddy.
You can pick up on that.
Yeah, you know,
but
I went to the Essence Fest. I think that was 2018 because Janet Jackson was performing. So I thought, I want to see Janet, whatever. And Teddy Riley was on the roster that night too. So I didn't realize, like, I knew he had a big library, but then he started doing a bunch of other songs that I was like, damn, I can't believe he did those songs too. I mean, his library is insane. You know, the thing about him, even though Teddy Riley has that sound, you know, like when Babyface and LaFace was like heavy, right? It was like when their songs that they produced would come on, you could tell like they had that sounding like, I bet you Babyface wrote that and L.A. Reid and Babyface produced, like they had that sound. The thing about Teddy is, like, obviously he does have the sound with his keyboards and everything, but some of those songs I was like, duh, he did that. Like, it was like I'm sitting in a concert like it was a music lesson, because I was like, damn, I didn't, you know, I knew he had a lot of hits, but that he produced, obviously, but
he did like all the New Jack Swing hip hop, but then he got into like, you know, like like straight like the 90s R&B, which is a different, even though New Jack Swing was the 90s, it was a different vibe. So he produced like, but then he did like from Big Daddy Kane to Heavy D to Redhead Kingpin to Rex and Effect, but then like he was a guy, then Blackstreet, then like, and then like, you know, a lot of people give different counts, but Timbaland and Pharrell were both interns at his studio.
Oh wow.
So there's a lot of people who say that
like they produced a
lot of his stuff, and like you know, so they say, who knows. And apparently Pharrell and Timbaland are cousins. I just learned this like a couple weeks ago. They're cousins.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because they're all from Virginia.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah,
that would be a cool thing. Like Pharrell producers, like Pharrell against someone.
Yeah, and like I know
a producers one. Like I know they did obviously the Babyface and Teddy Riley one, but it'd be cool if they did the producers one.
And I know that earlier,
like Pharrell would be like against. That would be a battle and a half. Like, because Pharrell, if you count his Neptune stuff with it, oh man, it's like,
maybe Pharrell against, Pharrell against Dr. Dre.
Against Dr. Dre.
The only thing is, Pharrell is a performer, and so he's gonna be able to. Dr. Dre is a performer too, rapper, but you know it's different. Someone can go and someone writes the rap and they can go up there and rap, but Pharrell can really like go up there and like sing and jump around and jump on the drums. Dr. Dre, like, I don't think he's going to start like working a drum machine. And
he's performing at the Super Bowl. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I'm looking forward to that.
You know, we were even saying what would be a dope. We don't want anybody to die over it, like West Coast, East Coast beef, but it would be cool. Like the East Coast, you get like 4 crews from the East Coast against 4 crews from the West Coast, Midwest against the down South. You know, you know, or like No Limit against Cash Money.
If a fight didn't break out during the Locks and Dipset, then I think everybody will be okay. Because I mean, some of that shit was like, I thought fists were gonna fly soon. Yeah, that was hip hop. Like that was straight.
That to me was the best.
Yeah,
it was the best versus Jadakiss especially, but the whole Locks, they came for war, and I think Dipset thought their swag was gonna win the night, and they do have hits, like they do have hits, but they really thought like their bravado and their clothes and that kind of like, you know, because cats from Harlem are hustlers, man. It's in their blood. It's the birthplace of the Harlem Renaissance, the Cotton Club. It's a different type of swag, and it's Manhattan. You know, so there's that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? There's that kind of upper echelon. Like you're not one of the like Manhattan is a borough, but Harlem is in Manhattan. You're not across the bridge in Brooklyn, across the bridge in the Bronx and Queens. You're in Manhattan. You're Harlem. You're the Apollo. And I think they thought and you know the Locks, they're from Yonkers. Like Yonkers is not like the. You know, like even the Dipset was like, man, y'all ain't even from New York, man. Y'all from out of town. Y'all from Yonkers. Like it's even though it's New York, so they just got like surprised attacked, man. Like Jadakiss especially. Like
Jadakiss was
there's a scene. There's one of the parts where Jadakiss is saying some stuff, and then like Cameron Cameron is getting so angry, and I was laughing because it's like when you're fighting with your baby brother. He's like, don't play with me. He's using the N-word. I'm not going to repeat that, but he's like, don't play with me. Like to Jada kiss. But I'm like, yo, that's when like we're fighting with each other, and I'm about to say some real nasty shit. And he's like, yo, don't shoot. That's what it was like. And it was like, it was epic, man. I was lying in my bed watching it on my phone. I was like, this is the best thing I've seen in like 10 years. Yeah.
Thanks, Larry.
Well,
now,
I think
another question, versus question. But before I ask it, of course, you know, Kanye just did the Drink Champs episode, and they asked him would he do a versus, and he said he actually would. So who do you guys think? Because I mean, Kanye, obviously, he has a billion hits as an artist, but his producer credits are ridiculous. So who could really match him? You know, because I was.
You know what? I think Pharrell.
You think?
I think that would be. I think Pharrell would be a thing because Pharrell's a performer, and so is Kanye,
and they're both artsy.
They're both artsy.
So
I think it would be something really cool.
I know there's this beef between him and Drake, but I think Drake is more of a pop star. I think Kanye, even though he a rock star, pop star, but Kanye's a real producer. Kanye, even though he a rock star, pop star, but Kanye's a real producer.
Yeah.
No, Drake is talented, but Drake picks trap beats from. It could be a 15-year-old kid making a cool beat. It could be an 85-year-old. If the beat's good, they pick your beats. Their team puts their little sprinkles on it, calls it their own, and puts it out. Kanye is a real. He's a producer. He's really cultivating this. I'm not saying Drake's not, but Kanye's really like Pharrell. Like he's actually physically producing it, and then he's singing on hooks and rapping parts and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Drake's not producing anything. No. He's just, he's rapping on the beat. So Drake would have to be with somebody else, like a rapper. If you're looking at producer wise, Kanye would be, it'd be a,
like I'd almost say Drake would have to go up against his own boss. Well, his at one time boss, Lil Wayne. Yeah. Like, I think that would be more like Lil Wayne against Drake. Someone more like, but I think I got to agree with you. Kanye West and Pharrell. And obviously Kanye West is a bit, a little bonkers with his political, with Trump and all that. That's a whole other podcast. But I think he's more of a Renaissance man. Like him and Pharrell have crossed over to different genres where Drake, even though he's a mega pop star, he's still it's still R&B with auto-tune which is cool, and it's in mega hits and mega everybody would aspire to be that
trap rap.
But I think like Pharrell is Marilyn Manson is on Thing's new album, Kanye. So like it's more of like Marilyn Manson. Like Drake would never do a track with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, and Pharrell did the whole album with Daft Punk, so it's like. Like
who are like techno producers,
electronic
from England. So it's just like I think that'd be more an evenly matched. I think Drake would give it to him. Drake doesn't shy from conflict, so I think him and Kanye would be an entertaining, like talking shit. But Kanye, but from true talent, where this guy can actually physically play a piano.
Yeah, you'd have to do with somebody who's a producer as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, they would have to put him with someone that's also a producer. I just feel like him and Drake, it would be entertaining, but I just don't think it's balanced. Even catalog wise, if you put all of Kanye's his own songs plus the songs he's produced, that's like insane. Absolutely. I didn't know Kanye had the new Lil Nas X song. So there's some songs that Kanye's probably produced that we don't even know he produced. So I just don't think it would be like a fair match, like entertainment wise. Yeah, but I do think Drake and Wayne would be like really good.
Yeah.
That'd be good. I actually went to high school with Lil Wayne, believe it or not. Like he was like maybe in like the 7th or 8th grade when I was like a 11th grader or a senior or something. So like I remember seeing him a few times, but I literally forget that I actually went to the same high school with him. But I would love to see Wayne in a versus period. I just think they should do like a Cash Money or something. Or I know some people throw around like Cash Money and No Limit. Just something. I just would love to see Wayne do a versus. I just think that'd be so good. So
Cash Money and No Limit, I think, would be epic.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I just think they, like the verses was a good idea when they started that, and it was so entertaining. We're all at home, bored to death during that pandemic. It was so entertaining. So I would love to see them keep it going, but get some people that were like, oh my God, like I don't think they've done that recently, where they had one where it's like, oh my, like I can't think of the last time I know Brandy and Monica's. I was like, oh wow, they got them to do it, but I can't think of one that they've done recently where I'm like, oh, whoa, like they really got those two, to agree to one. I think they need to wow us.
Yeah. Like the Ja Rule and Fat Joe one, it would have been epic if it was Ja Rule against 50 Cent. That would have been
insane.
That would have been, epic,
Right.
But that ain't gonna happen. 50 Cent's making movies, man, like in TV shows.
Busy. So I don't know. I wonder what 50 even doing, period. Like if they twisted his arm enough,
Yeah.
like I wonder. That would be cool, but I wonder. So my last versus question is, and I know you guys named some people that have already passed. So an all-time versus, they can be living or dead. Like who would you guys, what would be an ultimate versus?
Tupac versus Biggie. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be insane.
And then P. Diddy comes out, and Snoop comes out, and Dre comes out for California Love, and freaking Locks come out for and what's her name, Little Kim, and it's just like all of them come out. That would be epic. Maybe they can do it with the
holograms.
The holograms. Maybe we can do the hologram thing.
That would be neat. It really would be. So just to wrap everything up, like I said, I could talk about music all day. You guys have definitely entertained me a lot. So what's on the horizon? What's next for you guys? I mean, obviously you guys are super busy. So what's next for you guys? We're almost rounding out 2021. So what's on the horizon for 2022?
Well, obviously, yeah, our album Anthems Icons is December 10th. And we'll push that well into the new year. We have we're shooting a short. It's a four videos for 4 singles, 4 songs on the album, and then we're gonna kind of put it together to make a short film. So that's gonna be cool. So that'll be finished in the new year. And then we have projects like Aiden said with Swifty from D12. We're working on an album with C Knowledge, Doodlebug from Diggable Planets. I'm cool like that. So that's going to be a very jazzy project. And then we have other projects with Jay Havana, who's Crazy Hood and stuff. We're doing a project with him. And then we have other little like tadpole stages of things.
Another short film that was been filmed in England. One of the actors in it is the guy Sean Romulus
from Top Boy on Netflix.
Which is on Netflix.
So that'll come out in the new year.
We're working on like a 4-part EP, 16 songs, but 4 chapters, so in 4 different books. We're going to try and tie in a comic book. So we're trying to get some legendary graffiti artists involved. And like today I was talking with Tech from Smith & Wesson, who they had to change their name to Coca Brothers back in the day because Smith & Wesson guns, I think there was a lawsuit on their name. So, a lot of interesting things in 2021. Excited for, to kind of put it past us and, for all of this negativity, both politically and both disease and virus wise, to get behind us. The world's always been screwed up. It's always had problems, but let's get back to some good feeling. I want to hug people again without feeling scared. And what I'm saying? We
want to come to Louisiana and come hang out.
Hell yeah, definitely. I said, I enjoyed talking to you guys. We definitely got to do this again for sure.
Absolutely.
Because the world is opening up back in Louisiana for sure. I know they're having Mardi Gras, so I'm 9 times out of 10 sure they're definitely going to be having Essence Fest, Jazz Fest, and all that good stuff. Wow. So yeah, definitely. We definitely got to chop it up.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've always wanted to come to Louisiana and New Orleans. And like Louis Prima's from New Orleans. He was Italian. Yeah. And a lot of people thought Louis Prima was black because he played the Chiclet circuit. Like he played the black venues,
Right.
He's great, man. But I'd love like Aaron Neville, like The Neville brothers, I know they're getting older, but like to see the Neville brothers play on Bourbon Street somewhere, or just to see some. Actually, I don't know if they're from Louisiana or New Orleans, but they're called Brassaholics. They're either from Louisiana.
They're on the project with C Knowledge.
Oh my,
brass.
Their horns,
phenomenal. Yeah,
so, it is so funky. But like their horns, it's just like when you envision like New Orleans, like. I mean, I don't want to talk about someone dying, but you know the parades and people are having a celebration, and like this on the horns are like that, and it's just so holy shit. Like it just added such a different dynamic. Like when we got their horns, I must have replayed it like the MP3 like 50 times that night. My kids are like, "What's wrong with Daddy?" Like I'm like catching the Holy Spirit, like doing this in my living room, listening to the horns. Right.
You guys would lose your minds in New Orleans, I think.
I get into a lot of trouble there.
No, you guys will love it. Like I'm not kidding. When you come, definitely let me know, because you got to also go on Frenchman. Frenchman Street is where you're really going to have the people with the horns outside. I know COVID, this damn virus, but I know, like I said, it is opening back up. But Frenchman Street, there's a lot of virus, but I know, like I said, it is opening back up. But Frenchman Street, because a lot of people, they always associate Bourbon Street with New Orleans, but Frenchman Street is like the hidden gem. And that's where you actually will see people all in the streets playing music. And it's just like, it makes me sad, you know, because I'm thinking about pre-COVID, but that's the place to hang out for sure, to get some good authentic music. Like I said, you guys will love it.
That's dope. That has to be on the bucket list.
Yes, yes. We definitely will hang out. Like I said, I love music, so you guys will love it. So tell everybody, how they can find you guys on social media, everything, how they can connect with you guys. Like I said, I really love this interview.
80 Empire on Instagram, Twitter, 80 Empire _. That's the number 80 and Empire, EMPI, 80 Empire on Facebook, and
or Gladiator Records.
Gladiator Records. Go to gladiatorent.com, and we check our DMs. So people want to hit us up and stuff like that. We check everything.
And real quick shout out to Katrina and Rachel at Kick Up Your Heels Entertainment for setting this up, and shout out to you, Shonda, for having us on, man, because this is your platform, and you know you wanted to take time on your platform to allow us on. So we're extremely appreciative for that, and we love talking with people too. So this has been great to get to know you this past half hour.
Half hour? It's an hour, man.
Oh shit!
I told you we talk too much.
Like I said, I love talking about music. Like I've had a lot of singers on the show in the past. I'm gonna have to inbox you guys and send you the links, you know, and I can talk about music.
Please do.
All day. So like music is truly my heart. So I love talking about music. And one thing about music, like I said, we've gone through some shit over the past 2 years. Music is something that is universal. If the person really truly loves music, you can have a good conversation about music with anybody. It's a good bonding experience. And music makes people happy.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what we need. We need some happiness.
Absolutely.
You know, so I definitely got to get you guys
language.
Because right now I'm thinking of some other stuff I could ask you guys, because I'm like one of those music snobs about my playlist. Like I'm really serious about the type of stuff I play when I'm driving in my car and stuff. So like we'll definitely have to chop it up again. Like I said,
let's do it again.
Yes,
I have a good gangster soul playlist that I listen to. I call it Gangster Soul.
See, I gotta get you guys back on, because like I said, I could definitely do a part 2, because I love talking about music. So thank you guys again. Like I said, you have been great guests. Like I really enjoyed.
Welcome.
You guys heard it, 80 Empire. Definitely check them out. Gladiator Entertainment, especially for my music lovers. You guys know I've had some musicians in the past and some producers. Like this is my thing. So definitely check these guys out. They're doing some amazing things, and they work with some great artists. And once again, like they said, they're just one DM away. So you guys can catch this episode on www.theqchat.com, and you can also watch it on my YouTube channel, Go Queen TV. So whatever you guys doing, make sure you listen to some good music, be safe, and go love yourself.
Peace.
That must have did this beat.